Welcome back. We're now joined by the smiley face of Charles Tarbey from Century 21, who's got all the numbers from around the country. Charles, welcome back again.
Thank you very much.
Nice time in Perth the other week?
Oh, yeah, I just got back in from Auckland. I just flew in then because I saw time in Melbourne, Adelaide, but I did Perth and Auckland. Because of the time difference, you don't know whether you're having a late dinner or an early breakfast when you get over there. But no, it's great.
And New Zealand's doing well. I heard a speaker recently.
Wonderful, wonderful city, growing very well. Prices are growing well across the country. They had the biggest drop in pricing when the GFC hit. They got slammed in the first year. It took us, we got slammed a little bit each year. So they've recovered. So they're doing pretty well at the moment.
So, again, more positive news out there.
Great spot to look at buying.
And auction clearance rates?
Actually still good, Chris, still consistent like we talked about last week. We don't want them to go crazy, but we've had the auction clearance rates sitting in Melbourne at 66.2%, Sydney 67.5%. So there's a bit of movement there, but overall at 61.8%. Last week it was 61.7%. So it's keeping a nice little balance.
And what is the maximum? Like, it's never 100%, is it? So well, what is normal?
Generally not, but you know, when you're talking boom times, everything's selling 75 to 80, 85% will sell. But what we're looking for is steady growth this year. We really don't want the excitement that people are trying to pump into our industry right now. I really think it should stay steady.
Do you count that as far as when the hammer hits the ground, or do you count it after negotiation?
And that's the discussion point. You know, some people will do it straight after the auction clearance rates. On the Sunday morning you see the clearance rates, but they're a little bit different by the end of the week when everything's reported, and often not as good. But then it depends on the marketplace you're in. But no, we're going okay. It's going all right.
And again, I mean, we went to buy a property last night, so we had an agreement in principle at 4 o'clock last night.
Wow.
We were going to go and exchange 10 o'clock this morning. One person went into their office at 9:30, another one came in at 10 o'clock, and you got a Dutch auction going on a property a week before auction. And it just shows that at certain parts of the market it's very competitive.
It really does depend on the marketplace you're in, Chris. And the marketplace that we've talked about, this where you buy, there's a lot of people looking and not a lot of property for sale, so it's going to be always good.
Yeah. So homes advertised, have we got some more stuff coming on?
No, dropped again. 3-4 weeks in a row now, 0.21% lower than this time last week, so it's continuing the decline in properties on the market for sale. And again, the theory is just because there are 100,000 or 200,000 homes on the market doesn't necessarily mean they're all well-priced, well-motivated, well-presented properties either. So we have to keep that in tow. So even though there's less stock, the stock that's there may not be good or well-priced property.
It's causing a problem too, as far as I've been speaking to agents and as parents talking about a problem there, that people are having a tendency not to put their property in the market because they're not got confidence they're going to find something to buy. So it's a double-edged sword.
It certainly is, yeah.
But again, the less properties on the market sometimes can then push the price, because the people that do want to get in the market...
Population growth isn't changing. It's not going to go backwards, so there's going to be a need for more property. And not only is there less stock on the market, but there are fewer homes being built to cater for it. And I think that's been on one of our topics for the last couple of years now.
Yeah, that's right.
It really has.
It's coming up to the end of the financial year. It's when my rental lease is up. What's happening to rental prices?
Yes, look, the timing there is probably good. It's getting better for tenants. You know, right now Sydney's stabilised on what I'm seeing. It's stabilised in Melbourne a little. Perth has still had a climb. Perth still went up slightly in this last week, overall 15.45% climb. But the average across the country is about 11.04% for the three capital cities. However, it'll start at the top end in Perth. Mostly it'll start at the top end, but Perth particularly because of all the corporate people involved there. And when properties start becoming vacant, they're going to start finding it hard to rent those $2,000 a week apartments. And I think that the movement down in rent will occur in Perth, but it'll occur from the top down. Most of the investors who have the middle of the range property are going to still be okay.
Stuart, as an accountant, Charles is almost an accountant in training. The way he rattles off these figures without any notes, he knows his numbes, doesn't he?
He does know numbers. He's very impressive. He's always smiling too. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a real estate agent. I could be telling you anything.
He's an honest one.
And usually do.
He's an honest one. It's a vacancy rate.
Yeah,
what's
look,
happening there?
they've changed as well, and I expected Perth to drop. I expect Perth to start dropping, in fact, increasing in vacancy rates, but they actually dropped this week. But I think that over the next couple of weeks it'll slowly change. The vacancy rate across the country is 2.76%. So that's a national, still under 3. It's been under 3 for ages. But Melbourne and Sydney are starting to edge up just a little bit, and I think Perth will too. But right for now, it's still pretty tough for tenants.
And looking out on the horizon for general kind of capital growth, obviously the first quarter's been pretty good. What is the next major change that we're going to see that might influence the market? Is it going to be interest rates again? Is that the big thing?
No, I think it's more consumer confidence. I also think the influx of stock in Melbourne will get a bunch of apartments that have been coming through and filter through. That'll probably balance their prices a little lower, not in the house, residential or freestanding home, but more so in the apartments. I think they're going to have a little bit of a struggle there for this year, but not massive.
Are we worried about the election at all? I mean usually...
I think we're over that. I think everybody's sort of sat back and thought, really, there's going to be a change. I don't know whether that's going to happen. Something drastic might cause a problem there, but I really think that the marketplace is just going to be balanced for the while, Chris.
Wonderful. Great to see you guys. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining us at home. We'll see you again next week. Until then, I'm Chris Gray. Good night.